All right, hello and welcome. How is everyone doing on what I hope is a fantastic Tuesday, August the 17th for you? We are here with the next episode of SeaQuest. This is season 2, episode, I think it was 18, something in the air. Let's see. Yes, 18, something in the air. Let's see. So John was here first, giving your emoji hints. I like that.
Indeed.
Professor Brain Specs wants to know, when will Matthew be on time? I'm literally on time right now. I'm not sure. And I was on time last night as well. So I'm not sure what he's talking about. Thomas is saying today is Monday. Thought yesterday was Wednesday. Did you, John? No. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday. John wants me to...
Somebody was inaccurate.
What's that?
Somebody's dating's inaccurate.
It may be. It may very well be. Perhaps a song claims that the virtual pub is on a Wednesday, and someone else is too lazy to fix it.
Something like that.
Thomas saying, "I'm sorry, I won't talk anymore." I haven't even started yet, and he's already saying he's not going to talk anymore. What on earth? Usually, I get a few minutes before I've insulted Tom enough to not talk anymore.
You're in rare form tonight. You offended him before you even showed up.
It's true. I'm impressed with myself in kind of a inappropriate manner. Oh, I see. He's claiming to be Matthew. Brainy Specs is saying I'm 5 hours late, but I literally scheduled this for 9:30. So no, I started right on time. I don't know where you're going with this one, Jeff. Sorry. Well, we're gonna kick things off quickly here. I say that and my mind just goes. I'm pretty tired, if you can't tell. So we'll see how well I do tonight. I think last night
sharper than usual.
Oh yes, last night I think was the latest I stayed up in like a week or so. I'm getting so old. I'm like, oh, I stayed up till midnight. I'm exhausted now. But I've also been waking up a little bit earlier. Something that might make my wife laugh, because I'm notorious for staying up late and then sleeping in the morning. But it's true. I've actually been waking up quite early in the mornings. Jeff is claiming I'm tired because I'm 5 hours late. No. That's not why. Right on time. For a few times. Like this is one of the few times I've actually been on time here. So I mean, come on, guys. Anyways, I am going to drop the link to the screening room in the chat and then pin that. So the way this is going to work, everyone, for someone who's here the first time and like, what is this guy going on about? This is how it works. The link that should hopefully be appearing in the chat now. This is how you can come and watch this episode with us live. This link is only valid while we are doing the stream. As soon as the episode is over, the link is gone. It doesn't work anymore. It allows us to sync up all of our watch times so that, we're not struggling like, okay, do I hit play now? Do I hit play now? Oh, I'm 5 minutes ahead. I'm 2 seconds behind. Nonsense like that. It gets all of us on the same page. If, however, you are watching in the future and you can't view this, we're sorry, you missed it. But the good news is you can go to peacocktv.com, sign up for their free account, and watch all 3 seasons of SeaQuest DSV/SeaQuest 2032. If you only have the one monitor, or you don't want to pull up another tab, you don't want to set up an account, you don't want to go out and buy the DVDs, which are pretty reasonably priced, to be honest, well, we got you covered then too. We got some clips going here that should only be clips. There should be no audio coming out of this. And I've actually slowly been getting all my audio issues worked out so that it literally doesn't pop out. Like this is so wonderful. Audio doesn't come onto the stream anymore. Everything just works. And I've stopped tweaking it. I think that's the number one solution to all this. Yeah. It started working. I said, you know what? I'm going to stop tweaking it. I'm going to stop messing with it. And it's been amazingly successful. It's crazy.
Yes, Thomas, I I don't think any of us know what's going on around here.
You definitely. Well, I won't spoil anything. I'll let that be a happy surprise for everyone for this episode. So we will provide clips. They are just individual. Like every 5 seconds, I grab a single screenshot just so that we have a reference for what John and I are talking about. And I hope that you're enjoying this. We are just moving right along through this real quick. I think we have 5-6 episodes left to this season. It's definitely not much.
Yeah, it's about 5.
I'm trying to pull it up right now because it's. Can you spell Matthew? There you go. It is. Oh gosh, it's less than that. So there's this episode is 18. Then we have 19, 20, 21, 22. We got 4 episodes left in this season, and then 13 episodes in season 2. So there's only 17 episodes left. That means, assuming I stay on track, we are 4 months away from the end of SeaQuest. Assuming an average of 4 weeks per month.
Right.
So, yeah, starting the new year, I'm probably going to be over on whatever comes next. Jeff, you know, that show, it has a number in it and a city. I think it's San Antonio 4.
With Alexander Siddiq.
That's the guy.
Oh, by the way, since we're getting close to the end of the second season, just a reminder that the last 2 episodes are swapped. It lists Blindsided as the last episode of the season, but Splashdown should really be the season finale.
Oh, okay. Remind me when that comes up, and we're just gonna swap it. So we're gonna watch it in your recommended order, and not in just there. We're swapping around there. Now, I see people claiming I owe them money. I'm sorry, I never agreed to those terms and conditions. Just because someone volunteers me to pay other people money, I'm not bound for what that other person said. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry. That's my money. I'm not going to randomly pay out just because someone says that I'm going to give $1 for every point they get on Discord. But we will be going over to San Antonio 3 whenever this is over. Look forward to having Jeff on for that series. And, yeah, we good. Good.
Hopefully he'll keep you straight. I know it's a full-time job.
It's difficult. It is just so difficult. Professor Brain Specs with all the face palms. Yeah, we haven't even gotten to Babylon 5 and I'm already screwing up all the names. You'll be amazed when we actually get there. So one of the fun things, like now that I've actually started to, we're almost done with it. And now that I've actually started to get to the point where I feel like I more or less understand the character dynamics of the show, I've begun to make guesses for the next week's episode. So last week, I guessed that Something in the Air might be a romance episode, I believe is something I said. Or I said it was going to be some sort of viral infection, and we are going to have to get B'Elanna Troy to pull out some science mumbo jumbo and save everyone from this respiratory infection thing. That everyone was going to get the beer virus, and she was going to have to save the day. That was my prediction. So let's find out how accurate I was. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I think I won't ruin it. I won't. We'll talk about my accuracy ratings at the end of the episode, I think. And Thomas wants to know, San Antonio 3, what is that? I think that's what I'm going to call Babylon 5. It's a city and a number. I can at least remember that much. So I'm going to hit the play button here. We're just going to go right into this today, guys. Not much stalling ahead of time. So I'll give you a quick 5 countdown. That way, if you're in the future and you want to watch this on Peacock TV, you can hopefully be synced up to approximately the location we are. Or if you don't want to come to the screening room and you just want to watch it on your own, that way you can hit play when I hit play. So here you go, everyone. 5, 4, 3, 2, one, hit that play button, and then realize that you forgot to queue up the... There we go. We got the clips going. They're going to be a couple seconds behind, but that's okay. So we got this weird box from a random temple, from a random location, and it is excessively top secret. I mean, they're like, if this is what we think it is, this is one of the most important discoveries in the entire world. Now, we're never going to find out what they think it is. They somewhat gloss over that. They somewhat completely...
6,000 years old.
Yeah. You know, pretty young, some might say. But it's important, and it's going to change the way we view everything, which kind of interesting that they have this episode immediately following last week's episode, where they again had something that was older than the Earth, and it turned out to be a Greek/Roman god. So again, we have the strange box, and my guess actually was that this was going to be Pandora's box. That it was going to have, you know, hope shut up inside of it, basically. Or virus. And I agree, Ervik, that John has just the deepest amount of patience for dealing with me.
Well, I have to use Darwin as an example. Since, you know, he has to deal with people, you know, they're not quite as smart as him or not quite as advanced as him all the time, you know.
It's true.
Not saying that I'm advanced, but it is Matthew, you know.
It's a low bar to get above me, I mean. So, meet our team. We have a theologian, a couple random scientists, and this lady who is the master of linguistics, which is weird because we got O'Neill right there, aka the master of linguistics.
I know, he's practically the Daniel Jackson under the sea.
Yeah. And so she says, I can't believe what it says on the box. It says, do not open until Christmas. And everyone laughs because, you know, geek humor. Yes. But they say, you know, if this box has what we think it is, I think we're all going to be super excited. Again, we don't know what they think it is, but oh boy, I can't wait for it to be what they hope it is. Everyone hold your breath. We got this laser scalpel, and they say, what's in the box? And of course, we get this draft. A draft was in the box. Slams the door open. Or she sucks the door inward.
I was Daniel Jackson under the sea, Thomas. It's, yeah, very, very obscure character. I wouldn't worry about it.
And we get a...
And it's empty.
What's in the box? Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! And UEO's shocked. Ford is disappointed. Nothing makes any sense. But they don't want to give up hope yet. They think that maybe the writings they found on the outside of the chest will give them some further information about something. What was the box for? Why a random box buried on the ocean floor? I don't know, it fell off a ship at some point. Like, I don't understand why they care, to be honest. Like, they keep talking about, oh, if only we can figure out what's in the box. But I'm at a complete loss.
Though, of course, that's not really out of the ordinary.
Yeah, it's a short walk to me being completely lost. And yes, Thomas, we know Stargate only had a movie, but Daniel Jackson was in that movie as a linguistic, so I think you should get the reference.
It's true.
So we got this random lady And she is being pretty blasé about the fact that someone has come into her room while she was changing. And she's like, well, I think you should leave. We got a long trip. And then all of a sudden, lockers are being shoved around. A mirror is just flung across the room without anyone touching it. She says, who are you? And we cut to black.
Professor Brady Specs makes a good point. Stargate is only a movie, which was followed by Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and Stargate Universe. So
That's
they're all
true.
slightly different.
That's very true. Different names. I feel like you're skipping one of the Stargates. There's one more, isn't there?
I don't think so.
I feel like there's a web series. Maybe the web series was... Yeah, it may have just been a web series hyping up universe.
I think it was Origins or something like that.
That sounds right, yeah. Thomas says, who do you think you are telling me that I should get the reference? I know, that's how bad it is. If even I'm saying you should get it, I mean, come on.
The TV shows are worse than Discovery. No, I can't agree with that. Sorry, Thomas.
Now, unfortunately, Piccolo is the only one. They've been watching a basketball game, and Piccolo is the only one who has won. Except Dagwood is saying, well, I bet on the Spartans, and the Spartans won. And Piccolo's saying, no, you got to beat the spread, and you didn't beat the spread. so Dagwood grabs Piccolo by the nose and just drags him over, and he goes, is he trying to pull the sheep over my eyes? And Lewis is going, no, he's right this time. And, Dagwood remains unconvinced, but thankfully Alpha Base calls right then, saving Piccolo's life.
Or at least his nose.
Dagwood is extremely... I mean, it's like beating a Wookiee in space chess. I mean... Yeah. He's made a mistake. There's a whole scene. Dagwood hovers over him, growling. Now, Piccolo wants to know what was in the box, and for some reason, they're still being very tight-lipped. O'Neill is not letting anything go. And he says, it's not my fault you didn't get lucky with this girl that he set him up with. The phone call ends, and Dagwood grabs Piccolo's hand, and Piccolo's convinced he's about to break an arm or something, but Dagwood just slaps some money in his hand. And Piccolo goes, yes, and just sweet relief comes over him. They go to check in on Susan, the lady who, quite clearly died. And we see that they've basically spelled out red rum in blood, which I can only assume this is some ancient Aramaic language.
Kind of looks like it.
So everyone arms up. Oh yeah, B'Elanna Troy is here. I'd kind of forgotten.
I'm sure she'll be useful.
Yeah, so from the SeaQuest, we got Henderson, Ford, Jim, and O'Neill, and B'Elanna Troy over there. And then I think we have an equal number of red shirts. Special guest stars, I mean. Thomas is saying that there was raw meat, Playboys, and hamburgers in the box. Were the hamburgers cooked, or were the hamburgers the source of the raw meat?
That's what I was wondering.
Josh is asking, John, why do you torture yourself by hosting a stream with a guy who can't remember names to save his life? I think he's talking about Thomas.
Well, he might be, but it's a sacrifice I have to make for Darwin.
Oh, Henderson, Let's find out about her love interest this week. His name's Bill, apparently. And it's cooked. The hamburger is cooked. Okay. That's...
What good is it?
Yeah.
You know, raw meat's the only really nutritious form.
And I mean, this whole drinking water thing, complete scam. You never see a lion in the wild drinking water.
Nope, never.
Oh, I missed the moment. I wanted to point out that this moment right here, you can see a stagehand. And I missed it. I apologize, everyone. You'll just have to watch it again. But as they come down and this pipe falls over, you can totally see the guy who pulls the pipe down. Like, you can't see the actual string he pulls, but you can see that he's the one pulling it, and he's right next to this diver outfit.
Oh, yes, the infamous stagehand.
I'm tempted. You guys have given me so much flack. I am tempted. No, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going back. I want y'all to see this. So everyone can... It's just going to have to put up with me rewinding for a second. Because this is worth it. Watch Henderson as the camera pans around here. Right there. Come on. You saw him in the bottom left.
I saw someone. Was it a stagehand? Who knows?
Was it a ghost? Woo! No, it was... Maybe his technical term was something other than stagehand. Maybe it was prop master, gaffer. I don't know. But the point is, you had someone who wasn't supposed to be in the scene, which I thought, was great. I love the moment. I'm not complaining at all that it was there. I honestly really enjoy moments like that. One of the... And hopefully I got the clips back at the right time now. Yeah. In fact, it's even better. Now they're actually synced up a little bit. But... Oh, and they find Susan, what's her name?
I say, I'm sorry, Josh. No amount of handling is going to make Matthew remember things.
Okay, what I was saying, one of the worst instances I saw of this was in the TV show Boy Meets World. And they have a scene in one of the kind of mid-range seasons where you can see the boom mic. Like, it's not even just barely. It's like the entire boom mic and arm coming into the shot. I absolutely love seeing that. And just the fact they decided, screw it, we're going to run with it anyway. Now, unfortunately, we find out this poor girl, Suzanne, whatever, there wasn't a drop of blood left in her body.
Yeah, she was completely exsanguinated.
That is an impressive word.
Yes, add that to your vocabulary now.
Yes, Professor, whatever, whoever, Susie. So we finally figure out why this whole time the linguist hasn't been able to match this writing. And it's because it was a mirror image. They thought they were trying to read it right, but nope, it was messed up.
The old mirror image writing trick.
And it says that set the void his eternal home. And Bill, the love interest for Henderson this week, he says, what's this one section? So even though he's not a linguist, he knows that this exact set of lines and dots is a unique word. And it was Set. So who's Set? And O'Neill says, well, it was in most religions, Set is an evil one, which, John, do you recall Set from the Bible?
No, I believe he's from Egyptian mythology, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's, I want to say he was the god of the dead in Egyptian mythology. At least at one point. I mean, the Egyptian gods kind of bounced around what they did. But yeah, I kind of feel like O'Neill's wrong on that count. But humorously, O'Neill is the one answering this and not the theologian guy, like immediately adjacent to him. I guess maybe they had him try to learn the lines and he just wasn't getting it, so they handed it over to Raimi. I don't know. Josh is saying that they had a boom mic in scene in TNG a few times. I think I may have missed those. Tell me which episodes. I love seeing things like that. Josh is saying, Thomas, you would be a good fit too, since you keep Bird on target. Oh, for keeping me on target? It is not an easy job.
I don't know if it's possible to keep Bird on target anymore. It's possible for Matthew to remember names correctly.
It's very true. Now, Bill wants to get out of Dodge. He says, let's leave this place. I see no reason to stay. And Ford is saying, no, that whatever killed the lady, Susie, is currently contained. And if we leave right now, then maybe it will escape. So we have to stay here. Now, Josh is saying that everything goes over my head. Excuse me, I thought you were saying that everything goes to my head, which I was going to argue with. But over my head, I can only... case in point, I missed your over the head comment at first, so
there you go.
Thomas is claiming there's only 3 of them commenting and I'm skipping. Well, John read a couple too. Do you want me to double read? And it turns out that there's also writing on the bottom. And even though she needed to send the top layer off to the university to be translated, despite the fact that she is the head linguist here, she's able to immediately recognize that this is some sort of instruction manual for using the box. Which is news to me that you need an instruction manual to use a box. Typically, boxes are...
special box.
Typically, boxes are... close, open. Like this isn't rocket science.
Unless your box has set inside.
Clearly. Now, I do honestly think that, well, you know what? If I made that joke now, it would kind of ruin something later on. So I won't make that joke now. Thomas is claiming that I deliberately stream when he's working so I can't join him. That's not true. Meanwhile, Shaggy and the gang are deciding that they're going to double up. Use the buddy system as they try to figure out who this wacky ghost is. And Balana's...
By the way, Thomas is...
Go ahead.
St. Thomas is still waiting for you to prove that there were dolphins in the animated series.
You can't prove a negative, so you're going to be waiting a long time. I can only show you the clip that made me think it was, and considering that I'd never watched animated series, I think everyone can get off my back for thinking it was legit.
Nah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not. Piccolo's pretty happy, though. He comes in saying about how he's the lucky winner. much to the anger of Dagwood, and Piccolo wisely gets out. Josh claims that I'm ignoring them even more than when there's not many people commenting. So, Matthew, what is your excuse for ignoring us? I had a question about this. The difference between ignoring and not paying attention. And, just the question of, isn't there a difference? I mean, one is an active, deliberate choice, whereas the other is more of a passive passive thing. And I think that if it takes me a few minutes to get to reading a comment, that's not really me ignoring anyone.
On that note, Thomas says, must they remind you of the night I said I could join the pub because I had barely any work, and then you canceled it to move furniture.
It was a little more than that, but yes, I do remember that night. So, Shaggy and the gang over here, for some reason this time, if they were to send the translation of the bottom of the box out, it would take like 24, 48 hours to be translated. And they decide that they can send it more rapidly, even though, remember, this is like a single picture's worth of text. They can send it more rapidly if they use Lewis's high-speed connection to the university's computers, which that irks me a little bit, but at the same time, I do remember the dial-up of this era. It took a long time to pull up a single image. And, you know, we're getting a bit of a girl talk here with Henderson and, honestly, the linguistic lady. And they're talking about Bill. He's apparently a divorcee. He's having a lot of rebounds. Apparently, he asked every girl on the station out for coffee. Which Henderson's like, well, you know, I'm interested that he's interested in me. That's interesting. But I haven't decided if I like him, which, I mean, that's what the point of a date is. You just barely met this guy. Let's slow the wheels a little bit, but I don't need to hear wedding bills just because I want to know what this guy's, you know, good catch or anything. And B'Elanna actually read this guy's mind a little bit. Like, we made a big deal a couple episodes ago about how she would never, ever read anyone's mind without their explicit permission.
Unless she felt like it.
Unless she felt like it. And today she felt like it. And she comments that, you know, he feels responsible for the divorce. But he shouldn't feel that way because he gave all that he could give. And he said, no, I gave science all that I could give. And I only gave what I had left to give to my wife and family. He said, well, yeah, but that's the problem. My work, it doesn't keep me warm at night. It doesn't love me back. And he makes an interesting speech right now, talking about how he came from a very religious family, and that the more he went towards science, the more his parents kind of pushed him away. And, you know, B'Elanna makes a point that religion and science aren't mutually exclusive. In fact, there are many, like myself, who would say that, you know, we can look at the same data, and I can see that data points toward a religious support of scriptures, whereas someone else would look at the data and go, well, it rejects scripture. So it's not that science and religion are incompatible. It's that the way you interpret the science is going to dictate whether or not you think someone's right in their conclusions. But he actually, like, yeah, go ahead, John.
I say even B'Elanna Troy makes a good point occasionally.
Yeah. And he actually makes a point here of, you know, not just like, I'm going to piss all over religion because I'm a man of science, but he actually recognizes that it's a complex issue, that it's multifaceted, that there are things that are bigger than the facts, that science in of itself is meaningless if there's not something more beyond it. Which is a pretty nuanced position to take. It's definitely something that we would not have gotten just a few years prior. Like in the late 80s, early 90s, that is not a position you would have seen on TV.
Especially not on TNG, that's for sure.
Yeah. Arvik Saunders is saying poor Lewis got a worse wardrobe than Jake. No, he actually that is peak fashion for 1995. I unfortunately remember how everyone thought that style of you had the t-shirt with the button up on top of the t-shirt, but the button up wasn't button up, it was just loose hanging open. And the hairstyle. No, Lewis is 100% rocking the fashion of the 90s. But Thomas is pointing out that at least Lucas didn't have his skin tight clothing. Yeah, that was rough for Jake.
Yeah.
So Ford is getting a break right now. Apparently, last winter, the UEO used this alpha site as a top secret base for some sort of conference, and they decided that the best choice of actions for a high stakes conference is to bug everyone and put cameras and recording equipment and microphones so that they know what the other ambassadors are up to at all times. Which, wow, the UEO is pretty shady.
Yeah, they got some work to do there. The whole morality thing.
Yeah. But, I mean, it works out for this episode. And they find one of the cameras fairly easily, and they identify that this conduit that doesn't touch the camera at all is what is bringing... It's all the data connectivity for the camera. So once they follow it over, they should be able to find everything. And so they're going through the video files, pull it up. Okay, here we go. We found the lady on the night of her untimely demise. And this is what we saw at the beginning of the episode. Did anyone tell you it's polite to knock first? What are you doing here? And what the crap? It's Ford! Ford is the one who killed her.
Dun dun dun.
Thomas is saying that he never dressed like that or had hair like that. Maybe that's another reason I'm a loser. Well, Thomas, I did dress like that, and I did have hair like that, and I was equally a loser, so... unfortunately, simply dressing as the peak of 1990s fashion wasn't enough to make you very cool.
I was going to say, Thomas, if anybody here is a loser, it's not you.
Now, the UEO officers are willing to take Ford's side on this. He's saying he doesn't remember this, and they believe him, which is, interesting. Maybe too much camaraderie among officers, maybe trusting your friend. Bill, however, he's not putting up with any of that. He's ready to believe the evidence right in front of him, which I don't blame him. I would also kind of be on that side. Now, Jim is saying that Commander Ford is still the officer of record. He's still the one in charge. But I would say that there are undoubtedly some UEO regulations that would allow you to supersede that man in charge.
Like exsanguination.
Yeah. And in fact, I would say that in the very first episode of SeaQuest, we saw that Ford made use of these very rules to literally arrest his commander when she was going nuts. But B'Elanna, she is just being so useful today. It's very cold. She's extremely cold in this episode, but she's being very useful. Knocks over some metalware, distracts Bill, and Jim is able to grab his laser rifle. But we hear this just something's gone wrong. And they find the theologian. I honestly had forgotten that he was even in this episode. And, the poor linguist, she's been possessed. And she's all creepy voice. I prefer to eat in private. Like, she kind of sounds like Rita from Power Rangers. Hey, Hey, multi-gunman, I am doing fine. How are you doing? And Robert Rose Jr., hello as well, saying that this would make Watergate seem small in comparison with all that UEO spying. Yeah! Now, O'Neill says, he has his ear up to the door. He's like, I can't hear anything. It's all quiet. And Linguistic Girl punches straight through the metal door. And, Bill, he comes up and he's like, are you okay? And she kind of gives him the what's up nod and mentally throws him into a wall.
And by the way, Josh, there's a list of episodes for you. I think you can see equipment in the scene.
Yeah, let's see. He says, Remember Me, which is season 4, episode 5, right before the universe collapse. Unification part 2. Oh. Most of them are in season 1, where no one has gone before. Season 1, episode 6, The Big Goodbye. That makes sense. We kind of get the Ghostbusters moments here. There is no so-and-so, there's only Zool. And fortunately, it seems that Jim was able to find a trank gun, I guess. And he finally decides to use it on her. And we got an hour to figure out what's going on with her. Which hopefully they can do it. Thomas is saying that Trump had the UEO spy. That one wacky Donald. Now, perplexingly, they lock her up in this room. They tie her down with some, looks like wires. Not cord, just some random wires. And this room doesn't have any cameras in it. It has an infrared signal or an infrared detector in it, but doesn't have a physical camera. Which I personally would have chosen a room with one of the mini cameras, but whatever. They have her tied down, and they know that if she moves, they will know in a moment. Yes, Thomas, that's the reaction I had over this Bach episode. Oh my.
Well, now there's 2 infrared signals in the same room.
Which they seem to not care about. I guess in their mind, what they're thinking is that you have the bed being the infrared signal, like she's been lying on it for an hour, it's gained heat. So now there's a new infrared signal going around of her moving. And she has no idea. What's going on here, Tim? Why am I tied to a bed? Why are there other people here while I'm tied to a bed? And no one's going to answer her questions. We're just going to jump ahead to Ford saying that he talked to Lewis a half hour ago, and we don't have it fully translated, even though it's only like 2 lines worth of texts.
I agree with you, Aravic. This sounds like a job for Darwin. I'm sure he could have translated it by now.
So they don't know what's going on, but one thing we confirm is that it's definitely a demon, and we've definitely opened Pandora's box. Not literally Pandora's box. He's being figurative about this, just saying that it was a bad thing to open. And one more thing we definitely know is that Set needs a host, a human host even. And once he inhabits or possesses a human host, that's when he goes all vampire on someone, sucks all the blood out of their body, and instead of it going into the human host's system, he's able to basically absorb it into his essence. Thomas, did I download an adult version of this? Nope, this is just where they went. But we got it. We know that Set needs the air we breathe to get what he needs. And he can only possess people when they go to sleep. So unfortunately they don't have any stimulants, any pep pills. So they're just gonna have to drink coffee to stay awake. And Ford's saying, look, someone over 8,000 years ago managed to get this Set demon into the chest, which he's a little bit wrong. The chest was only 6,000 years old. So it's not like they could have put him into a chest 2,000 years before the chest was made. So no. But still, I get your point, Ford. If someone from thousands of years ago could figure it out, surely we can figure it out. So Ford thinks that if they can get Set where they want it, then maybe they can use some electrical generators to taser it into submission, maybe. And how are they going to bring it? Well, we just need to bait the mousetrap. And Ford is clearly going to be the cheese for this mousetrap. By sleeping?
Well, there you go.
So kind of another Aliens moment. Everyone watching the motion sensor detector of this infrared cloud as it heads for Ford. And for some reason it stops. Instead of going all the way to Ford, he just kind of gets close to Ford. And he's not all the way in the grid. He's not all the way in the trap, but maybe he's close enough. So do it, Ortiz. Yeah, Thomas, don't taser it, bro.
It'd be really amazing if Ortiz was able to do that, considering that he's not there.
And just the best CGI here on screen.
Absolutely.
We got this horned turd snake thing. And they didn't even slow it down. And, Jim points out an interesting point. He goes, look, we can see it on sensors. It's stuck here. Why don't we just leave? And Ford says, well, because we're the ones who opened it. We're the ones who are responsible for trapping it again. Josh, only Matthew thinks bad CGI is great. It just reminds me of Nintendo 64 graphics. Going around, playing GoldenEye, those big blocky chunks that everyone praised. And Ford wants to know if Lewis prays. And Lewis says, I haven't since I was a kid. And Ford says, well, maybe now's the right time. And honestly, between meeting Neptune last week, a demon this week, Adam and Eve at the beginning of the season, I honestly can't believe that anyone aboard the SeaQuest is still agnostic or atheistic. I mean, it takes more faith to not believe in something higher at this point than to recognize that they've met like 4 supernatural beings. So thinking maybe what they need to do is like vacuum seal somewhere, because once they get rid of the air, the creature will be dead or it will be contained. So the thing, maybe we can get into the airlock and then pump all the air out. And Ford says, I owe you a big juicy steak dinner after this, which there's a problem with that. We know for
juicy artificial steak products, maybe is what he means.
Maybe, but we know for a fact that, Krieg went out of his way to get a real authentic hamburger because cows had been outlawed by AOC by this point in history. The Green New Deal went through in this timeline. And O'Neill responds with, I'm a vegetarian. Which I was pretty sure that those protein imitations weren't actually meat products. They were all protein synthetic products. That's true, Josh. N64 had bad graphics for all games, but some of them were less bad. Like some of them were able to do kind of a cartoony look, such that the blocks actually worked well for it. GoldenEye tried to make it look like they were people, and it didn't work. So Bill, he calls up his ex-wife, and he's trying to make amends with her. Like he can see that, everyone's dying around him. He wants to leave things on a good place with his wife. But she's like, look, none of this isn't a good time. You're too late to be doing this. Maybe next week. He goes, yeah, okay, maybe next week. And then very somber music plays, and you see the real reason why he was calling her. Because he's intentionally choosing to lie down and go to sleep. And I guess they decide to abandon the buddy system at this point. Because both Ford and Bill are alone. And predictably, Bill gets possessed. Except he's like quasi-possessed. Instead of actually attacking anyone, it seems like he's able to like fight against Set. And he's able to get the box, and he says, no. Oh, he doesn't say it. He just like holds up his hand. No, stay back. And Set does a Your Mama diss against Ford for some reason. Which, I mean, low blow there. And Set's now just he says, I get it. Sticks and stones may break my bones. And like he holds up his hand, and like you can actually see Bill's fingers breaking and stuff. Thomas is saying, stop bashing the N64. GoldenEye is his favorite game. I'm just saying the graphics on it left a little bit, along with the game controls. Josh wants to know, how much did I smoke to think the games for N64 had good graphics? I don't think they had good graphics. I'm thinking the graphics worked for the art style they chose for that game. Like Space Station, Silicon Valley. The chunky look worked for that game. So Set's able to get into the pressure lock, or Bill, possessed by Set, he opens up the box, and Set realizes that it's all a trap. It's a trap! But Bill somehow forces his way past Set's control, pushes the button to depressurize everything, and as the oxygen is sucked out of the room, the Set entity is sucked back into the box, and the lid flies up and lands on top of it, resealing Set because of Bill's brave self-sacrifice.
I say it's like a mini Ark of the Covenant.
Josh is saying he
got that reference.
He didn't say that. Get your names right. I said, Josh Street said, Matthew, how much did you smoke to think the games for N64 had good graphics? Did I not say Josh Street for that one? Because I said Thomas for the other one. So we have a somber moment. Everyone's back aboard the SeaQuest. Set's captured. And they target the facility, launch a couple torpedoes at her. Explosions. Rock falling down on it, which, I mean, if this is their big plan, you do have to wonder why they needed to reseal Set at all. Like, they had said that Set couldn't get past water. So if they simply left and then blown up the place, they would have equally sealed it. Like, now it's just double sealed. He's in the box and he's trapped. Back in the
absolutely sure.
He's double, triple sealed.
Exactly.
And Ford is saying, you know, he's wanted command for so long, but now that he had it, all he really wishes is that Bridger was around. But for some reason, Dagwood has Piccolo's pants. And Dagwood is saying they had a bet. And apparently the wager went down, something where Dagwood said, you know, I'm going to bet something, and Piccolo says, my pants. And so apparently Piccolo was trying to be funny, sassy, sarcastic, but unfortunately Dagwood actually won 5 bets in a row, even with the spread, and so he forcibly took Piccolo's pants, and Piccolo's trying to buy them back, but Dagwood's having none of it. He knows that he is getting his revenge. And he starts singing that I'm the lucky winner. Oh, great ending. Love the little B plot that went on there. And now we're learning all about killer whales from Henderson. But of course, they're not really whales, they're dolphins. And apparently they...
especially awesome.
Yeah. Apparently they're the apex predators of the ocean, is what's being claimed. And she makes an interesting statement here. They are not endangered... at the time of this episode, they were not endangered species, and yet they still had protection within U.S. waters, which seems somewhat contradictory to me. Why protect a species that isn't endangered? But there you go. Especially when it's a cousin to this dolphin.
Well, that's why it needs extra protection. They're very special. Being dolphin relatives.
Thomas is pointing out that a killer whale can kill great white sharks, but what about giant squid? I mean, or what about like a humpback whale? Which, okay, humpback whales...
They're not predators.
Krill would disagree, but yeah, that's definitely not what I would call a predator either. Josh wants to know, where was Darwin Matthew the dolphin? He was missing. And the episode improved or was hurt. Yeah.
Like I said, Darwin could have translated that in no time and told them exactly what they needed to do. They're too busy sending it up to some university.
Who knows? Well, John, what did you think of this week's episode?
Well, despite the lack of Darwin, all right, I thought it wasn't that bad of an episode. You know, very tense. You know, they had a couple of interesting conversations in between the characters. So overall, I thought it was decent.
It definitely wasn't as bad as last week's episode. I would actually not mind watching this one ago. I am somewhat shocked. I feel like starting last week, the quality of the episodes has somewhat dropped in terms of the writing. Like, we get the MacGuffin at the beginning of the story where there's a box. What's in the box? It's something that can change all of humans' understanding. It's the most important thing in all of history. And then, obviously, you're not going to have anything good in the box. No problem with that. I don't mind. But we never actually get told what they thought was so important. Like, why they had any reason to believe this random box was actually anything important. The most they give us
is
is
the age.
Yeah, I mean, the most they give us is I think they said it came from a temple off of the coast of some island, like some underwater temple. And it was a really old box, but I mean, like they just failed to set that up. And so as a result, the first, I think about 15 minutes of the episode kind of floundered a bit for me as we try to get to the actual plot of the episode. Because they try to build up like everything's about the box. So we can't tell you what's going on, Piccolo, because the box. We're trying to translate this because the box is so important. And until they actually got past that and got straight to the, oh, hey, we've released something bad. And at that point, the episode picked up. And, you know, we started to get interesting things, a good mystery going on. But up until then, I did feel like the episode kind of, it was trying to find its footing up at the first, I felt like. Which is something we also saw last week.
Yeah, said last week I don't think they ever quite found their footing.
They didn't. And that's why this week, at least, I wouldn't mind watching it again. Whereas last week, I'm like, But I said this last week, and I'll say it again this week. I'd skip it, but I'd probably still just watch it. I'd say I would skip it, and then I'd get to the episode, and I'd go, was it really that bad? I mean, I really don't like skipping episodes. And then I'd probably watch it. I think in all my collections, I only have a single... I think I have a single episode where I've said this episode was so horrible, I deleted it. And then I literally left myself a text note, a text document within my file folder saying, Matt, this is why you deleted it. It really was that bad. You just don't even want it. If I ever remember what it is, I'll have to look. But it takes a lot for me to not watch it or to delete it. Well, any other thoughts, John?
I can't wait for them to bring Darwin back. We've really missed him the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Him being gone is, I guess this is more of maybe episodes airing out of order. Maybe this is while he was being repaired would be my guess.
Could be.
Because otherwise they often went out of their way to have him at least swim by. Thomas is pointing out that sperm whales eat giant squid. I know that giant squid and humpback whales aren't the best of friends. Multigunman saying that Darwin was on a date with Echo the dolphin. That's why we didn't see him. That must be it, Multigunman. And now Josh is claiming that Darwin dating Echo the dolphin is how we get Echo Jr. Wow. Oh, wow.
So we get to the end of the episode, and once again, Matthew's predictions were basically completely wrong.
Well, yes, they were. I was right only in the concept of there being something airborne that, rather than infecting, was possessing. So that's I'd give myself a 5 out of 100 for getting that much right. So not impressive, but okay. There's 5 points for you.
Yes, congratulations on pulling that from the name of the episode itself.
Yeah, that's kind of like you wrote your name correctly. Well done. Which, I mean, knowing me, I've probably got my own name wrong on a plethora of tests and documents.
I'm sure.
So next week, Season 2, Episode 19, it is called Dagger Redo. So kind of a freebie, I think, on that one. I think it's going to involve the daggers. So maybe what we'll do is, let's see, I can see this going in a couple different ways. One, we're just literally going to check in with the daggers that we haven't really seen since episode 2 of season 1. Which, I mean, technically it was depending on how you count it. I call it season 2 because that's how they have it on Peacock TV, but it was the opener for season 2. You know, it's a 2-parter, so some people might call that the second half of episode 1. Peacock TV calls it episode 2. So that was the last time we really saw those daggers. We did get a Dagwood clone in, I want to say, special delivery.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that was the one. So we saw a Dagwood clone. So I think what we're going to see with Dagger Redo is either checking in with those people that we saw back in episode 1 and 2, or we're going to find a scientist who is trying to take the dagger concept one step further. So he wants, like, Dagwood was the prototype. We had the daggers who were the version 1. So maybe this episode we're going to be looking at daggers 2.0, where someone just wants to basically create the con of daggers, something like that. That's my guess of how they're going to be looking at it. Josh is saying Thomas and Josh are both saying that we need a double feature every week, and Josh is saying it needs to be a double feature until Babylon 5. Thomas is pointing out that humpback whales only eat krill. Yeah, my understanding is that they don't fight the giant squid just to eat them. My understanding is that the giant squid actually go after the humpback whales. Take that one with a grain of salt. That might just be someone's kaiju fanfic that has kind of become a, oh yeah, this is totally legit thing. Maybe this is kind of like those dolphins and TAS situation. But I mean, maybe it's true. I'll look it up. I'll look it up and mention on Discord. Thomas has let Josh out of being wanted for treason for wanting the double feature until Babylon 5. Multi Gunman wants to be double feature while playing Echo the Dolphin. No.
There's an idea.
I did my time with Echo. I'm not doing that again. Except I'm totally doing that again when the Amico comes out in a couple months. Is when the Amico, yeah, the Amico comes out, and they are going to have a Echo the Dolphin game on it, a brand new game for Echo. I don't think they're going to call it Echo. I think it's something else, but it is the team that made Echo. It involves the dolphin. It's Echo the Dolphin for the Amico. So yes, there will be that. Thomas is saying he only sees sperm whales first giant squid in documentaries. Okay, I trust you, Thomas. I shouldn't. With all the tricks you pull on me, I shouldn't trust you. But I trust you.
It's shameful not trusting Thomas.
Thomas has pulled so much crap on me. Don't give me that. Every time.
But that's you.
Thomas is extremely trustworthy for other people, but he tricks me too often, and yet I still continue to trust him because he is so stinking knowledgeable. And he's so right most of the time. He'll just be like, he's right, and then he'll throw in that like 6-1. And that 6-1 will be a total trick, and I'll fall for it, and I'll never live it down. He tasks me. Josh is saying there's 3 more Echo games, but only 2 on Steam. Fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah, Thomas. One day Matthew says, always listen to Thomas, then don't trust Thomas. And that's the thing. I do both of those. I'm aware they're contradictory, and yet I always listen to you, and yet I know I shouldn't trust you because you trick me way too often.
So remember, Matthew is just like time travel. He's a logical contradiction.
Yeah, and pretty much. Oh, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us. And as you have seen, every like 10, 15 minutes, I am doing the charity bike ride. That is 2 weeks away. I'm trying to work out where I can live stream it. Hopefully I can get that fixed out here in the next couple days, because I would love to live stream it and then have a higher quality video at some point in the future. But until that time, we'll just have to wait and see. Tomorrow morning, I should have a new video up on modding the 360. So look forward to that. And John, what about you? What you got in coming up here?
Nothing in particular. Throw up some Star Trek videos occasionally.
Very cool.
Salty Trekker's been doing a series on Sacrifice of Angels, so I plan to respond to that if he, puts out another episode trying to tear the episode down. It's one of my favorites.
I think he does have one more episode where he said he's going to fix the visuals. I think was his main complaint. Because oftentimes they say, there's a hole, we're going to punch through it. And then the camera angle would show, a wall of starships, which one might say we're not looking straight the way the Defiant's going. We're looking at an angle, but
I already did do one video responding to that particular issue. I'm waiting to see what his next video is about.
Very good. And yes, forgive Michael, he's old. After last night's stream, Amy's like, Matt, I can't believe you made the joke about if Michael was dead. Like, are you? I'm just flabbergasted that you could be so insensitive sometimes. And I'm like, it's true. I'm very socially awkward and insensitive.
We're all used to it by now, though.
It's true. And apparently he got lost in Minecraft again. Honestly, I need to play Minecraft at one of these points. And Thomas, you need to join me whenever I do that, so you can actually tell me how on earth I'm supposed to do any of this, because I have no idea.
Yeah, Thomas had to help him find his way back to his little house because he was completely lost.
And there, speaking of the missus, there she is saying, "I'm never used to it." It's every day is a new surprise. She is. She really is. I try. I'm so much better than I used to be. But man, sometimes something will happen. I'm like that person's just an idiot. I have no sympathy for them. Not saying that's what I did with Michael last night. That was just me being socially unaware, which is still something I deal with. But I'm a lot better than I used to be. Anyways,
you must have been pretty bad in the past.
Oh yeah. I was. All the bits was. We'll see if I ever tell any of those stories. We are, however, going to wrap this up here. Guys, thanks for hanging out with John and me. A lot of fun doing it. Look forward to next week. So we will see how wrong I am for Season 2, Episode 19, Dagger Redo. Take care, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will. And be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified of all the updates I do on this channel. If you want to support the work I'm doing here, then I hope you'll consider becoming one of my Patreons, where you'll get early access to all kinds of videos. And until the next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.